People are painting a public picture of me as some criminal. That's not my story.
And what is your story?
아이고, 힘들어.
가족 같은 친구다라는 말로도 부족해.
Welcome to Bel-Air. What the hell is my life?
The real-life story of a fake heiress, female friendships through thick and thin, and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air returns in an unrecognisable form. We're bringing you the latest series to hit the small screen, and Yena Lee joins me for that. Hi, Yena.
Hi.
Now, Netflix first has transformed the real-life story of a wannabe socialite into a fictionalised series. Inventing Anna is #1 globally on the streaming platform, with over 77 million hours of views in the first week it was released. Yena, remind us about who this incredible figure is, who's known as the Soho grifter.
Well, Olivia, Anna Delvey pretended to be a German heiress with a trust fund. She wined and dined with New York's elite from 2013 to 2017 and ended up scamming friends and banks to the tune of $200,000 because in reality, she was born to a modest family in Russia. Her name is Anna Sorokin, and a US court sentenced her to prison. She spent almost 4 years behind bars for fraud and grand larceny. She was released on parole last year, but currently she's been detained again, this time for overstaying her visa. The show Inventing Anna is based on the reporting by journalist Jessica Pressler, who wrote a piece on the socialite for New York Magazine in 2018. The character inspired by Pressler is called Vivian Kent, who's played by Anna Klumsky. Ozark's Julia Garner plays Sorokin. She imitates an impressive part Russian, part German accent. Take a listen.
Is legend around here.
You have to work hard to get what you want. I've always known that.
I'm building something. It's a private club, a step beyond the VIP room.
It's $40 million to finance.
We have 2 banks interested in loaning her the money.
Holy shit.
To building something special.
I'm not this person who is like trying to trick her way into stuff. Like I just asked them and they either said yes or no.
So we've got a juicy drama there about New York high society and an intruder. We said it's based on real life, but there is a bit of fact and a bit of fiction in this Netflix version.
Absolutely. Most of the show is based on real-life events, such as the ill-fated Marrakesh trip with a Vanity Fair photographer, the existence of a tech bro boyfriend, Sorokin fretting over her wardrobe for the trial. Much of the details, though, are, of course, fictionalised with a Shondaland spin on things.
When I read the article in New York Magazine about Anna Delvey, I remember calling my office and saying, there's this article, and we have to get it, and it's amazing, and I was obsessed. She is a villain's villain, if you know what I mean. Like, you kind of can't help but admire her.
Because Shonda Rhimes there is, of course, the television guru behind big hits like Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, and Bridgerton. So what are your thoughts, personally, on Inventing Anna?
Well, I love Shonda Rhimes and her work, but not this time, I'm afraid. Her shows often have scripts that are quite dramatic and corny. The actors tend to veer towards the theatrical. We saw that in How to Get Away with Murder. We saw that in Scandal. And usually it works really well. Unfortunately, Inventing Anna looks, sounds, and feels like a television show from 2010, and I'm being generous. And it's not doing anything new visually and anything new with storytelling techniques. There were multiple times in the first 2 episodes I could literally predict what was going to happen next. And the pace was really quite slow. And worst of all, each episode is 1 hour long and there are 9 parts to it. It's quite a disappointment because the show did have access to a stellar secondary cast. Katie Lowes, Laverne Cox, Jeff Perry. I was expecting something a bit more captivating, like the Netflix documentary, The Tinder Swindler.
Oh my God, that was a phenomenon because, of course, con artist, scammer stories are a big hit with the public right now.
Yeah, because the source material is just brilliant. Like, what can you do with that? But Inventing Anna, I'm starting to wonder if we're not part of a wider, bigger scam because Netflix reportedly paid Sorokin $320,000 to use her story, which means that despite having to pay back the people she owed and her legal fees, Sorokin would have made a profit.
Yeah, she definitely scammed all of us viewers, I suppose. Now, we're moving on to your favourite pick for this month. It's a Korean drama centred on female friendship, featuring some big names from the world of acting there.
Yes, Olivia, proof that I don't always hate corny content. 39 is a lovely show about modern women and female friendships. It's produced by Korean broadcaster JTBC and it's available on Netflix's Asia market. The main characters are all 39 years old. Mi-jo, Chan-young and Ju-yi have been buddies since high school and the three are on the cusp of entering a new decade when they find out that one of them is terminally ill.
이거 바뀐 거 아니야?
너 뭐 죽을 병 걸렸냐?
죽긴 누가 죽어!
안 갔으면 좋겠어.
함께 있는 시간 동안 신나게 놀 건지 심각하게 슬퍼할 건지.
장래 희망 생겼다. 참여줘 남편.
맞아! 역사상 신나는 시한부가 되어줘.
Oh, wow. You said it was corny, but it does look like a real tearjerker.
It is, but at least the creators do us a favour by telling us that very early on in the trailer and also in the show, so viewers definitely know what they're getting into. Aside from this looming death, there are also very classic K-drama tactics, such as love interests randomly running into each other in the street, so that's not very original. But what I did enjoy were how fleshed out and realistic the main characters are. The women are married, they have careers and relationships. There's even a one-night stand in the first episode, which is quite rare to see in a Korean drama.
A bit more comparable to other, perhaps, international modern series there. So what else did you enjoy about it?
Well, 39 is delightfully cringeworthy, but it's also quite smart and funny and has subtle social commentary. It reminded me of the Chinese drama Nothing But 30, which was centered around three women turning 30 with the city of Shanghai as an integral part of the show. It really did feel a bit like the Chinese Sex and the City, but with a lot less sex. 39 is less about the city of Seoul and more about friendship, and it does sometimes indulge in rich people problems, but in the end, illness, love, aging, the pressures women face in society can to a certain extent transcend class and borders. So I did appreciate that. I also enjoyed the strong performances from the three headliner actresses. Son Ye-jin is regal as always. Lesser known Kim Ji-yeon provides comic relief, but it's theatre actor Chun Mi-do from Hospital Playlist who really steals the scene in every scene. All three actors were 39 years old themselves during filming.
Oh, wow. That sounds quite touching, actually. Now, crossing the Pacific from Korea to the US for the very hotly anticipated remake of the 90s classic, which I must admit I remember, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yes, this reboot is the brainchild of Morgan Cooper, an indie filmmaker and Fresh Prince fan who took the initiative of pitching a new version in the shape of a trailer. The clip went viral and Will Smith's production company reportedly reached out in less than 24 hours, offering to make it into a TV show. It's now available on Peacock in the US and Sky Now in the UK. The Fresh Prince was the all-black sitcom with predictable punchlines that shaped my generation, and Bel-Air is a dramatic version of the same story, so no more laugh tracks here. It's a purposeful choice that I think makes viewers reflect much more about contemporary US society.
OK, well, here's what the main actor, Jabari Banks, had to say.
We all know the story of The Fresh Prince. You know, I got in one little fight, my mom got scared, but do you really think about it? Do you really think about what's going on? You know what I mean? Do you know the stakes at which what is happening in the circumstances in this 16-year-old young man's life?
Coach, I am Coach Johnson, and you are?
Nice to meet you, man. I'm D. Will Smith at your service. D1 recruit. You know, listed in Ball His Life twice. Matter of fact, man, just let me show you my highlight.
No, I've already been privy to your highlight reel, kid. That fight you got in this weekend.
That wasn't what it looked like.
Yeah, look, I'm not clear on what brings a D1 recruit from Philadelphia all the way to Los Angeles in the middle of a critical school year when it comes to college recruiting. But despite your stats, I have no interest in entertaining the drama that comes along with you joining my basketball team.
As you can see there, Will Smith has handed over his crown to Jabari Banks, an actor who is also from West Philadelphia, born and raised, of course. The casting is very much on point. Banks has the sparkle and energy Will Smith had before in the past, and Bel-Air is a thoroughly enjoyable watch. The reboot is a darker and a grittier version of the original. If before it took a light look at class tensions and had discrete references to race, this time creators try to address sensitive issues head-on. We talk about representation, black excellence, police brutality, all very worthy topics of a drama centred on a black family.
So it seems to go into a lot more depth than the original sitcom. Can you give us some examples of that?
Well, for example, there's a scene where Will walks into a group of white students rapping the N-word. There's also a storyline with his cousin Hillary being told that her family aren't the kind of public that a respected cuisine magazine is targeting. Of course, it certainly won't have the same kind of impact as Spike Lee's She's Gotta Have It, Ava DuVernay's When They See Us, or Issa Rae's Insecure. But for a teen drama, I think Bel-Air is thoughtful and well executed.
Bringing some important issues to the table. Now, those were your top new shows for the month of February, Anna, but we're not forgetting, of course, honourable mentions for some shows that are returning to our screens.
Yes. 3 shows you should check out if you haven't already. The 4th and final season of Killing Eve returns to screens on Sunday. BBC's spy thriller starring Sandra Oh and Jodie Comer promises to keep us on our toes. The first 2 seasons were excellent.
They were.
Although I would say the show could have wrapped up a bit earlier. Perhaps the last chapter will be its redemption. I'm also keeping an eye out for Marvelous Mrs. Maisel's 4th run on Prime Video. Set in 1950s New York, the main character is a budding stand-up comedian. It's a charming story that won the hearts of critics and the public alike. And finally, season 2 of OVNI, or UFO, is back on Canal+. It's the French science fiction comedy about engineers in the late 70s trying to get in contact with aliens. It has gorgeous vintage aesthetics and a completely absurd plot. I am a bit wary about how writers will deal with the Vietnam War in this coming season, but if you understand French and French humour, it's one to try.
It's certainly an eccentric one. Yena, we'll leave you with a clip of OVNI, or UFO, in just a second, but thank you very much for your wrap of those new shows on the small screen at the moment. Do remember to follow us on social media, and there's more news coming up on France 24 just after this.
On a une demi-tonne de barbe à papa qui est là, on sait pas comment ni pourquoi.
De la barbe à papa dans une centrale nucléaire.
Les centrales nucléaires, c'est comme les merguez. Personne ne sait vraiment ce qu'il y a dedans.
Ils nous répondent et ils nous disent allô.
La barbe à papa émet un signal radio?
Oui. C'est dans votre tête tout ça. Ce n'est pas possible.
Moi, je le crois, Didier. Moi, je crois à tout ce qu'il a vu.